Hey everybody, Eric here with the Off-Grid Guru, and in this candid video I'm going to be sharing with you a few updates about what this channel is going to be doing in 2022, and yeah, I'm going to try and do it all in one take, unedited, so let's give it a go. I've been working behind the scenes to bring you new content, including live streams, interviews, new products, and my very first collab with another YouTube user in the same off-grid eco space. And that's why I've invested in new audio equipment so that all my content from now on sounds great. And I know that long-form podcasts aren't for everybody, so in order to make this video as user-friendly as possible and to prevent me from rambling too much, I've made a list of things that I want to talk about today. First, I'm going to start with a quick overview of each topic, covering what's happening immediately in the next month, and then I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into my plans for the next 6 months, and then I'm finally going to be talking about my greater vision for this channel and my year-end goals. So I hope that this is going to make it easier for both casual viewers to tune in for a quick update, and those of you who are with me for the long haul to be a part of what this channel becomes in the future. And lastly, everything is now timestamped, so it'll make it easier for you to navigate through the video. Alright, so without further ado, here are the things that I would like to talk to you about. So starting from the top, I have a new huge video release that I've been working on, a compilation of all the best videos that I put out in 2021. Second up on the bat, I've got new live content coming your way. If you're interested in hearing more about how the direction of this channel is going to change to more podcast format videos, I don't even know what the new live content point is here, which is going to include an interview with Alosha from Veda Academy, which I am really excited for. So I'm going to let you know when you can tune in to hear us as we sit down and take a look at his organic architectural designs that incorporate principles from Earthships and other masters in the permacultural space from all over the world. Really, truly incredible guy, and I can't wait to talk with him. And it'll be the first time that I'll be sitting down on air on this channel to do something like that, so that is very exciting. So if you want to know more about that, then you definitely want to stay tuned when I talk about it in a little bit more depth very soon. Coming up in the next 6 months, I'm going to be back in the field on the ground in Taos building another Earthship tiny house. This is going to be the Tiny Plus Plus. It's going to be Ron's upgraded, improved, cheaper, better version of the house that he just built. Not only that, but I'm going to be opening the floor to talk a little bit more about the possibility of crowdfunding. Some of you have been mentioning that I should do a crowdfunding campaign to raise the capital needed to document this process of building the Earthship tiny house. I do agree with those of you who are saying that because it is a ton of work. And in that section of the video that comes later, I'm going to be diving deeper into my thoughts and asking you for your opinion on them. So for those of you who are here for the long haul and want to influence the direction this channel takes in the future, you're going to want to check that out. My year-end goal is to produce a documentary series, which is going to cover everything from dirt to doorknob, all of the steps of building an Earthship wrapped up in one. So for my year-end goals, I'm going to be talking about that, what it means, why I want to get to 10,000 subscribers, how that's going to help me activate the merch shelf, and what new merch I'm looking to put out there for all of you this year. Alright, so starting at the top of the list, I've been working hard on a new video that I'm really excited to release. It is a compilation of all the best videos that I created in 2021, and even though I haven't been able to upload it because my internet connection has sucked, I have a quick preview for you. Check it out.
Happy New Year, everybody. I've been thinking that it's time for reflection, so for this video, I'm taking a break from my usual content to bring you a compilation of all the best videos that I released in 2021. I've done my best to make this video entertaining for newcomers and returning viewers alike, choosing the order carefully to make it feel like one long adventure, each story flowing into the next. We are going to start with a series of inspirational home tours in the Southwest, then go to Taos, New Mexico to build an off-grid Earthship tiny house, and conclude with an inspirational father and son story in Pennsylvania that sparked a radically off-grid building movement. And it's a long one, my longest video yet. So I've introduced timestamps which allow you to skip ahead or go back to a specific point in the video. Each chapter is labeled in the description below and also in the video's timeline. And don't worry, this isn't a marathon with intros and advertisements and subscribe now after every break. I've cut out all the fluff and just left the good stuff. They're so big. And after that, we became
awesome! I couldn't drink because if I did this.
Alright, so like I said in the intro, I've been trying to upload this video. It's the longest one that I've ever produced, and it's just not working. So when I get back to my studio in Taos, I'm going to be uploading that video for you. I hope that you're excited for it, and I just wanted to let you know that for those of you who've been following the tiny Earthship build that we're doing here in Taos, I am going to have a abridged version of that entire build in this video. It is a dirt to doorknob update. You do see everything from the first tire all the way to us closing the door. However, I don't manage to get inside in this update and show you things like the Murphy bed that we've created in there to save space, as well as the awesome kitchen that Ron has designed and all of the finishing touches. So in the future, you can look forward to a full update on the Earthship tiny house. I just think this video is great, and the home tours that I filmed in Crestone, Colorado, which is a really cool story. I really like the way that the editing came together for that one, and by cutting out all the fluff and really shortening that down so that it's just back to back with no intros and things like that, it's really smooth, it's really clean, it's a really nice story, and I really like how that turned out. So I'll probably release that also as a separate video. It's something that I'd like to continue to do on the channel every year, where I look back on what I've done and, you know, cut it down and release it as one, you know, best of, you know, it'll be the best of 2022, which will be really fun, and there's a lot of great stuff coming up. To get ready for more live content, I've invested in this audio equipment, and one of the reasons why I struggle while I'm on the road to produce my videos is because I don't have oftentimes the right equipment. You know, I've left a portion of my equipment in Taos so that the crew can continue to document while I'm gone, and this just doesn't work for me, so I needed to buy a second set. I ended up buying this awesome Yeti studio microphone here, which I'm going to be bringing back and setting up in Taos so that I can do live streams. And for the GoFundMe for the Earthships in Pennsylvania documentary, I've already promised to some of you, and if you're listening, please reserve your spot, because I'm going to be doing a Earthship model kit class. So the same class that I gave to the Earthship Academy and the Dome Gaia workshop participants. This kind of class is something that I've done in the past in person, but I've never done it live. So actually it'll be the first time that I ever sit down with students virtually building the Earthship model kit, explaining the 6 design principles and taking questions, and also just having some fun. You know, any questions that you might have, I'm down to answer them. You know, it doesn't have to just be technical stuff. I did do the Earthship Academy in Taos, and I've been there several times. I've also traveled all around the world doing this kind of stuff, so I've got a lot of great stories, and that's why I look forward to doing more live content this next month and really trying to bridge that gap between who I really am and who I appear to be in the videos when I have to sit down and script things and do voiceovers and stuff like that for the sake of the story. Alright everybody, so I'm sitting down again to film this next part because the sun was getting low and I was getting tired, and I really wanted to have more energy and also to obviously look better for this last half of the video. For those of you who are staying with me that are passionate about the direction that this channel goes in the future and how we can have a chance to interact more. Basically what it comes down to is, what can I offer the audience that you find truly valuable and that you would feel is a worthy return for your support, regardless of where that support is taking place. So I labeled this section crowdfunding just because crowdfunding is the easiest way to describe this transaction that we're going to be having together. But really what it is it's like a play date. You know, it's like a play date with the off-grid guru. That's how I want it to feel. And at the moment, the channel isn't really oriented in that direction. You know, the videos that I put out are polished and produced, and their intent is to deliver a story that is inspirational. And the direction that I'm going to be going in as I produce more content is more personal one-on-one content, and I have some ideas for how I see that going forward. And that's why in this section I would like to really give a quick but effective breakdown of the different platforms that I've been thinking about doing some of these things on, and also exactly what I would be offering you on these platforms. Try and keep it as short and sweet as possible, even though this section is going to be a little bit longer, just because I'm going to be talking about all the different ideas that I have and things that I can offer, and ultimately the direction I see this channel and this community going in the future. So let's start with the fun stuff. I would really like to move towards more fun and interactive live chats where I can do things like show you some of the sketches and designs that I came up with when I was studying at the Earthship Biotexture Academy years back, but also all the designs that I've come up with since then. I just think it's a fun idea to go through my old notebooks and look at some of those designs for one of the sessions, and then maybe, look at the other designs that I've come up with since then in another session. And obviously, each session you could focus on just one design. You could, going further, render it in 3D live. I also thought to get a little bit more audience participation, it might be fun if, we picked someone to pitch their idea and just kind of riff on their idea, like a brainstorm session that we would do together. So I really like to do brainstorms and quick sketches and things like that, non-committal, not being hired as a consultant and not trying to give somebody, the significant piece of advice that's going to change the trajectory of their life or anything like that, but just to have some fun and sit down and, look at a design and say like, oh yeah, I always wanted to do an Earthship, but I wanted it to be, 2 stories, how could we do that? What would that look like? And then sketch it live on air with you. And then of course, in the future, if I could get to the point where I can invest in some VR equipment and learn how to use it in a way where I feel proficient enough to do virtual reality architectural sketches live, that would be, for me, a goal that I would really like to get to in the future. That's not necessarily something that I'm focusing on this year, but I mean, geez, if if that's really where you want this to go, then you got to tell me in the comments below, because the more you guys push me to do that, the sooner I'm going to be breaking out the VR headsets and investing in that equipment to make this happen. We can muse together, we can talk about all these different building techniques and what they're used for, and basically do what we did in the Earthship Academy, which is sit around and talk about, our wildest dreams and ideas and where we would take these designs. And I don't mean as part of the theory of the Earthship Biotextures Academy. What I mean is, just us as the students sitting down and talking, and crazy ideas after crazy ideas. I mean, everybody's got ideas. When you go to Taos and you see these things and you're inspired, just so much stuff comes up. And I could find a huge amount of value in just getting on air and talking about some of them and using the sketches to, kind of launch the, brainstorm of what's possible, but also allowing you to comment and interact with me to kind of push the talk in a direction that you'd like it to go in, whether it be that you're more interested in like earth bag construction and growing food, and you come maybe from a tropical climate, and so you'd like to talk about those possibilities and what it looks like to build an eco village, all the way to I just want to have a homestead in a 4-season climate which has a harsh winter, and I want my house to be as efficient and still look great. And I mean, I've lived in both, so I can talk to you about both. But also just having some fun and building a community, heading everything in that direction by making the connections between people who are like-minded. So when Alosha finally reached out to me, I was really excited to be able to, I mean, geez, just the first conversation that we had, it was so obvious that we had so much that we could talk about, and we had to really narrow down what we wanted our first interview to be focused around, because Alosha and I are cut from the same cloth, and he's already gone out and done some of the things that I have dreamed of doing for many years. He's someone that I am excited to be sitting down and talking with live on air with all of you, and also someone that I find really difficult to describe in an ad-lib way off the cuff. So I've actually written down a little intro that I'd like to share with you about Alosha, because he is a really eccentric person, and it's really hard to give you an accurate description of who he is without the script. So without further ado, this is Alosha. Alosha is a Russian-based eco-architectural visionary who is combining the ideas of the world's most radical thinkers into one design. He's traveled the world studying with a who's who list of architects, natural builders, and permaculturalists. His innovative organic designs are inspired by the work of Gaudi and look like something out of Jacques Fresco's Venus Project. He created an educational platform called the Veda Academy and has taught over 1,600 students both online and at his hands-on workshops. I first discovered Alosha many years ago when I stumbled upon his YouTube channel, Veda Academy. And even for me, someone who is obsessed with this stuff, discovering Alosha was a shock. Not because I thought he was crazy, but because I related with him. It felt like I had stumbled into an alternate version of myself from the future, a version of myself that dared to actually create designs right out of my wildest dreams. That's why I'm very excited to announce that I'm finally going to be meeting with Alosha live on air later this month. Together we are going to sit down and discuss these wild designs and geek out over all things eco-housing. So I don't know what to tell you. If that didn't get you excited for this, then I don't know what will. Alosha and I are going to sit down and we're going to be looking at his wattlarium design. So for those of you who are aware of Alosha's work or want to go check that out beforehand so that maybe even you can throw some questions in the live chat, the wattlarium is something that Alosha has put together basically as his flagship model. You might have seen it. He had a video that was trending where he was showing a model that he created of the wattlarium, which incorporates earth bag, aircrete, constructed wetlands, compost reactors, radiant heating, the Earthship principles, the 6 Earthship principles, and geodesic domes. I mean, I could go on and on. You know, his designs really incorporate basically everything. Not only is he incorporating everything into one design, which seems like it would be more easily constructed in a place like in South America or in a tropical climate, because he incorporates a lot of water features. He incorporates, outdoor showers, and he incorporates gray water planter cells, and he incorporates charcoal filters, and he incorporates a lot of food growing in the home and rainwater harvesting and things like this, and building cisterns. You know, it is incredible what he's doing, and now he's really focusing on trying to get all of those things to work in the harshest climate imaginable. So we're going to be diving deep into the wattlarium and how the systems work. I've been looking at his designs and I have a few questions, and so we're going to be relating a lot of what Alosha has put together in this design to the Earthship design principles to kind of explain for you what his thinking is and why this prototype, innovative kind of design he thinks will work. He's been already building it on a small scale at his compound in Russia, and then recently he went to Brazil to work for a client building a kind of mid-sized version of this wattlarium. For those of you who know his work, you should be prepared with some questions if you want them to be answered. Not only are we going to be sitting down to talk about the wattlarium live on February 2nd, which I believe if you want to tune in live, it's going to be in the morning on February 2nd because of the time difference, but it is also going to be replayed obviously on the channel. But the other thing I wanted to talk about is that I'm going to be doing his drawing class. So he teaches drawing classes where he sits down with the graph paper, the pen and the compass and the ruler and all of those, drawing tools. And then it's going to evolve into bringing everything into Rhino and designing them in 3D. So that is going to be super awesome. I've already talked with him so that we can collaborate to make it possible for me to be able to live stream portions of that and share with you what we're working on, but also that it makes it fair for the students who've paid to sign up for the course, obviously. And I'm really, really excited to sit down with Alosha and draw, because for me, that's kind of like the heart of being an artist, is being able to sit down with other artists and just create. I always am open to learning new things, and I think Alosha brings a lot to the table. So stay tuned for the announcement of when I'm going to be doing the drawing class. I'm not exactly sure yet because the schedule is yet to be released, but there's going to be I think 10 different classes over the next 2 months that Alosha is going to be sitting down with his students, and I hope to join all of them if I can, and bringing some of that experience to all of you. Okay, so that is what's happening the next month on this channel. It's going to be this marathon video that I'm going to be releasing. I'm going to be doing the live stream with some of you who've donated to the GoFundMe for Bill and Will in Pennsylvania, and I might be posting a replay of that. We'll see. Obviously, I need to talk with all of you about what feels comfortable, and then I'm going to be sitting down with Alosha to do an interview and joining his drawing class. So a lot of awesome collaboration coming up this month on the Off-Grid Guru. Like I said, sitting down with Alosha has been literally a dream of mine, and I'm looking forward to that conversation. Moving on to the next 6 months here, I'm going to be talking about the next tiny house build that we're doing here in Taos. The successes and the struggles that we're having with building in Taos and trying to document it and bring it to you. So just to give you a wider perspective of who we actually are, for those of you who don't understand, is, I am an individual, and I'm working with Ron in a partnership to bring you this build every week or bi-weekly while I'm working full-time. It has its limits as a creator, because obviously the vision that I had was to create something like a ultimate do-it-yourself compilation of videos that will be unlike anything that has been offered for free on YouTube before, and is not, as I can tell, going to be offered on YouTube. Mostly because it takes so much work to do something like that. To go through each and every detail of the building process and release the quantity of videos that would be necessary to cover everything, even if I were to trim down my editing style, the artistic editing style that I prefer for this video series, you're going to want to really get down into the nitty and gritty and, take the time to go over all the details. And so I've been filming with that intent this entire time. I've been filming every single detail of how we built this house, hours and hours, hundreds of hours of content, and then we're going to do it all again, which is going to provide even more value for the audience that's viewing, because we're going to learn from our mistakes, and we're going to be making upgrades, and we're going to be making improvements, and we're going to be talking about why we did that. However, what I'm talking about, this grand dream, this is going to take years to produce. I mean, I already have hard drives with hundreds of hours of content, with home tours and adventures and travels of, completely unrelated projects. And this project alone, though, is a huge opportunity for us to create that database that I think everyone really wants. When you YouTube Earthships, you'll find everything under the sun. You're going to find home tours of Earthships. You're going to find people talking about Earthships but don't really know what they're talking about. You're going to find people who, for example, like Mike Reynolds, invented Earthships, but do I see this video series on YouTube that I'm talking about? No, of course not. There is the Earthship Academy, which does online classes, but that's also a unique experience. That's the Earthship Academy. That's their package, and they're offering it. Obviously you have to sign up and pay for the Earthship Academy, and I'm going to do future videos talking about my experience at the Earthship Academy, and whether it's right for you and why you should take it, and is it a worthwhile investment and things like that. So not taking anything away from the Earthship Academy, but what Ron and I are doing right now, we both want this to be for free online, and very comprehensive and extremely broad in its scope of how much knowledge it's offering. Some of you have mentioned in the comments below, why don't I put out a crowdfunding campaign to raise the funds? And I've thought about it. I already have an idea in mind, which I would like to pitch to you really quickly, about a campaign that I think could help raise the funds necessary to get all of the footage from the Earthship that I'm building now and will build again, edited up together into a comprehensive DIY series for free on YouTube with your help. So in the past, when I wanted to produce the Earthship model kit, I knew that I was going to need the funds necessary to self-publish and to get the first print run out there. So basically the breakdown of the Earthship model kit campaign was something like this. Every single tier, when you donate, your name is in the book forever. If you donate $10, you get the ebook, and then if you donated, I believe it was $30, then you would get the physical printed copy of the Earthship model kit, which is the same book you would get in digital format, but now printed, with the instructions on how to build the Earthship model kit, which is 4 pages that is inserted into that. And then beyond so there was the educational package, which was, you ordered 3 or more, and it didn't really go beyond that in terms of complexity. It was more so just to deliver the book to the audience. My idea now for the Tiny Plus Earthship build documentary would be to do the same formula for the lower tiers, so you'd still have the $1, the $10, the $30. I'm not promising on the prices. Obviously, I need to look if it makes sense to still do it at that pricing. But to have everyone gets their name in the book, obviously, as a thank you. Or, everyone who donates $10 would get the ebook version of the Tiny Plus model this time. And then for $30, it would be the Tiny Plus paper model this time, which will be cool side-by-side comparison of the global model 900 square foot studio, which is inspired by Mike Reynolds' design. Now you're going to get the 700 square foot Tiny Plus paper model, which is going to be in the same scale. So you'll see the size difference, and then also all the upgrades and improvements and design changes that I've wanted to make since having first created the Earthship model kit, will be implemented on the second one. So going further to offer more value than just the paper model and then several copies of that paper model as you donate more, I was thinking to follow a formula similar to that of the greenhouse of the future. Some of you might know or might not know, most of you probably don't. The greenhouse of the future was launched by, and I'm going to mess up his last name, but it's Francis Gejeron, I believe. Francis is from Canada. And he went to the Earthship Academy at the same time I did. We were in the same class. He ended up launching the Greenhouse of the Future documentary, which was trending all over on Amazon as a DVD that you could order, but also it was a crowdfunding campaign, and his formula is to offer the drawings for a design that he presents, and then to offer various packages of support for you on your journey to building that thing. So what I was thinking is to take a similar formula and to offer for lower tiers the same offering that I did in my first Kickstarter, but to add even more value on top of that, to offer actually a set of the drawings as well as varying degrees of support for those of you who would like to have a more long-term relationship with us as mentors and as consultants for your builds. I don't necessarily want to say exactly what that would look like right now, because that's a formula that I haven't exactly fully hashed out for, what we would be able to deliver in comparison to that team. So what that could look like, but I'm not promising that it will look like, is, as the tiers would increase, you would not only be getting the paper model, but then you would be getting a set of plans, and you would be invited to join a group of other backers who have also backed the campaign. One of you might actually end up building this tiny house, regardless of whether it's a year from the campaign or 5 years from then. What it'll do is it'll start that community as a private Facebook group or a Telegram group or something like that. And even if you're not extremely literate technologically, we'll make it work. That group of people who would get connected together, that would have the plans, depending on the tier level, would also have access to our expertise and would be able to shoot us a message with troubleshooting questions in the future, which could include something as simple as just some email consultations or shooting us a question and having us respond to support you, in your quest to build your own self-sufficient home. And it could go as far as to have a on-phone consultation with myself or Ron, which could be very valuable for some of you who are either already at a point where you're looking at a piece of land that you would like to develop and would like to start taking the steps now, or know that this is the way that you'd like to go in your life in the future. Of course, this could also be for somebody who that would like to do something like this in their life, which would also be a great gift for them. It's going to be a lot of value offered if we do a structure like that, and I'm a little hesitant to say exactly what the rewards would be, just because it is a big commitment to start building a community in that way. So finally, to wrap up the crowdfunding section, I'm going to take a break from talking about the Kickstarter format and what that could look like. But before I move on, I'm just going to remind you all once more that please, leave us a comment below and let me know if what I just explained to you there sounds like it is an awesome value for your support and something that you'd like to be a part of, or if you have any comments, criticisms, or ideas. Moving on from Kickstarter, I just want to talk briefly about Patreon, because I've been told many times by many people that I should start a Patreon. What I'd like to say about that is that I've seen many different structures on Patreon as well, and for those of you who don't know what Patreon is, it's basically a platform that allows supporters, patrons, to donate a monthly amount towards a creator that they want to support, so that creator can innovate their work. Some creators choose to have, live streams once a month, or a whole bunch of other exclusive content that is not offered currently on their main platform, and for me that would be YouTube. So, for me, if I look at other creators and try to emulate what they're doing to try and get the same level of support and offer something that is exclusive and unique for you as the audience, that means I would be looking at doing something possibly like a live stream once a month that would be exclusive and could potentially be some of those design sessions that I was talking about earlier. However, there are also creators who choose to put up a Patreon and basically offer no rewards. And then obviously there's a lot in the middle. Some creators offer tons of exclusive content to their Patreon supporters. Some creators offer basically nothing and just say, thank you for supporting me. Now, I am someone who is quite eccentric, and I think that I have a lot to offer. As you've already heard, all these different ideas that I have swirling around in my head are things that I'd like to playtest. The things that I like about Patreon, which I'll just say really quickly here, is that I like the idea of being able to playtest those things with the audience. Once a month live stream that isn't necessarily the same thing every time, but is always going to be an opportunity to sit down with me and discuss or be shown something, I think would be cool, as well as the possibility of interacting with you guys more so that you can tell me what you want. Maybe we playtest for a little while a few things and eventually you're like, yeah, you really need to do this VR headset thing. That to me could be a cool way to take those of you who are in it for the long haul and really want to support me and my work, but also be a part of it and kind of be more behind the scenes and be a little bit more inside my inner circle and talk more deeply about some of these things. Like this type of conversation that I'm having right now is the type of conversation that I don't feel is for just the average YouTube, audience at the moment. What I feel that this conversation is for those of you who are like really interested or really want to learn and would love to sit down for a whole nother hour with me. And, geez, I would love to just shut up about this stuff and get right to the good stuff, like sit down with the drawings, talk about, cool, crazy ideas, and then, obviously also be able to deliver on some technical advice if you have it. But you can see how the direction of the Patreon is unique and different than that of which I offer currently on YouTube, which is often more polished videos that I have taken from my hard drives, which are essentially my memories. So just taking my memories and polishing them up and offering them to the audience, in an inspirational story format, which, for now does fine for me. I enjoy putting out my stories and continuing to put them out in the future. Another possibility for Patreon backers that would be exclusive content for those who would donate monthly that would have access to it would be just simply taking out, the other hard drives that I haven't shown the world yet. I have a whole tour in Europe that I did that I haven't even begun to start editing and honestly don't know when I will. And there are many more projects, including timber frame cabins and the fairy garden cottage project that I did in San Francisco that I've been hyping since the beginning of the channel and still haven't gotten to, and might as well just end up putting that as an exclusive for the Patreon backers. So that's it for Patreon. I've talked about it enough. Obviously, I have a lot of content that I could share with you there for those of you who would want to support me monthly for some exclusive content. But if you don't tell me in the comments below that that's something you're interested in, then I'm going to keep chomping on it and thinking about it, because right now, I don't want to start the Patreon and then do a Kickstarter and then have to deliver on both of those simultaneously and bury myself in work, just to be totally honest. Just to talk about the year-end goal a little bit more specifically, it would be to get to 10,000 subscribers so that I can activate the merch shelf, which I don't know if some of you have seen that before on other YouTube channels, but it's basically just a bar that comes up underneath the videos that shows what merchandise the channel offers. Obviously, I already have a merchandise offering on my website. I just think that it's a little bit messy to have to go to the description, to click the link, to go to my website, to go to the shop. I think the merch shelf could be awesome for this channel because it will allow people to just see what I have to offer in a clean, plain, and easy way and click it right here below the video when they're interested at that moment. And that will allow me to put less ads in the videos. If I feel that it's going well, then I will not have to push the Earthship model kit as much in my videos, which is going to give you more playtime for all the good, juicy stuff that I'm going to be releasing, and less ads. So it's going to be a win for everybody, for you as the viewer and for me as the creator who you are supporting. And I think that reaching 10,000 subscribers this year, I would be very happy with that, to activate the merch shelf. That way, whatever I do moving ahead, whether it be crowdfunding for the documentary or the Patreon, or if I just decide to, have fun and make some unique other offering, which is very possible as this channel grows, then the merch shelf is going to be a fun way for everyone to support me and to receive something in return for that, and really just to support my artwork. I'm not talking about as soon as the merch shelf option is available to me to just farm out a whole bunch of t-shirts and stickers and things like that. Like, yeah, maybe a sticker would be fun and a t-shirt would be cool, but I'm not, it might be fun. If you tell me you want stickers and t-shirts, sure, I'll make stickers and t-shirts. But that's not the point, you know. Other channels might use the merch shelf as a way to support themselves from the angle that they are a podcast and aren't artists that produce physical goods. What I'm trying to tell you is that I'm an artist who creates things physically and have been doing so for a long time. The Earthship model kit is very complex and required a lot of engineering and playtesting over like 2-3 years just to figure out how to create a complex paper model like that and then have it die cut and then have it delivered. So, you know, I am basically like a mastermind when it comes to creating things like that. And the merch shelf for me is an opportunity to bring even more value to the audience in the form of high quality deliverable goods and really cool stuff. You know, I'm not going to promise anything here, but I did just get a new 3D printer. I did go to school for 3D design and printing and things like that. So, I mean, I could make some really cool stuff is all I'm saying. All right, and lastly, I just want to say thank you so much for hearing me out. If you are here at the end of the video, then God bless you, and I really appreciate your support. For those of you who just love what I do and what I do inspires you, what's new on the Off-Grid Guru, then I want to let you know that moving ahead in the future, my vision for this channel is to create a community. But really, what it is I am trying to offer myself to the world at a higher level and try and give my creative talents to all of you the best that I can in a way that builds a community here on the Off-Grid Guru channel. You know, obviously I understand that these are very hippie sounding ideas, but ultimately, you know, being able to sit down and talk with you like this is something I'd like to continue to do. And I hope that you see your investment in watching these videos as a small contribution towards a long-term investment in your life, where you are going to be building a relationship with me and those who are going to be contributing and commenting on these videos. That is going to allow you to have that type of life in the future, because I'm going to be learning, I'm going to be growing, you're going to watch that process happen over the next few years and hopefully even more than that. So for those of you who stick for the long haul of these videos and hear me out to the final word, I know that you have my back. I thank you for your support, and we're going to have so much fun building this channel to this year and the year 2022. Thank you.